And Congresswoman Lauren Boebert heading back to Washington for a second term. Her margin of victory, less than 600 votes. Enough, though, to trigger a mandatory recount, as News 5's Andy Koen reports. Andy, the Democratic challenger, Adam Frisch, we heard from him, and he conceded today.
That's right, Rob. Both candidates actually posted video on social media in the past 24 hours. Boebert claiming victory last night. Frisch gave that concession this morning. And the candidates telling their supporters that the recount is unlikely to change the result.
Fewer than 600 votes separate Congresswoman Lauren Boebert from Democratic challenger Adam Frisch. That margin triggers a mandatory recount in state law, but the candidates both reached the same conclusion in separate video posts to social media.
Past recounts in Colorado have resulted in far fewer votes being adjusted than anything that could affect the current outcome we're seeing tonight in this race.
The likelihood of this recount changing more than a handful of votes is very small, very, very small.
Frisch made it clear that while he supports the recount, his campaign did not request it, and he will not raise money from supporters because of it.
It'd be disingenuous and unethical for us or any other group, to continue to raise false hope and encourage fundraising for a recount. Colorado elections are safe, accurate, and secure. Please save your money for your groceries, your rent, your children, and for other important causes and organizations.
Boebert said with Republican control of the House, she looks forward to addressing inflation, domestic energy production, border security, and being a, quote, strong check on the White House.
Thank you to every volunteer that made calls, knocked doors, and of course, to each of you that has entrusted me with your vote. I am honored to be your representative. I pray for you, and I am so grateful for you. God bless you tonight.
And according to the Colorado Secretary of State, a statutory recount for this race must be completed by December the 13th. Members of the 118th Congress will be sworn in on January the 3rd. Al?
Yeah, and let's talk about that recount, by the way. Of course, a lot of people since Frisch conceding have been asking about it. As Andy mentioned, Colorado law does require votes to be within 0.5% in order for a mandatory recount to happen. I did the math on this race, so you don't have to. Equals out here, and it comes out to 0.3%, so well within that margin to qualify for a recount. But what exactly happens next? Well, Colorado Secretary of State has until December 5th to certify the election results. That has to happen before a recount can happen. And again, December 5th is the deadline for that. And then it'll move to the counties. 27 of them will have to conduct these recounts. They have until December 13th to wrap that recount up. Okay, but Frisch could formally withdraw from the race. He has not done that, only conceded. But if he does withdraw, then a recount would not happen. But just how much of an impact do these recounts actually have on results? Of course, you heard from Frisch and Andy's story there, where he said it doesn't generally have a big impact. And we take a look here in El Paso County, there were 4 recounts this past summer. Now, none of these were mandatory. The candidates actually paid for them to happen, and the recounts did not change the results. In fact, only one race had a huge difference, and by huge, I mean just 5 votes here. Rob?